So we are going to switch over to that. I know I use the Weather Service, one of the Weather Service sites, so anyone can get to this site. Let me see here if I pull it up. Oops, I had it on the wrong screen, and now it's behind my. Here, we'll just do this. You can see all the bells and whistles, like as if anyone's really all that interested in it. Here, let me. I was gonna. Oh, okay. Now you can't see that. You can see me moving this around. Oh, now it's gonna come back here. All right. Okay. I think I'm set now. Anyway, yeah. So it's from the Western Region headquarters. Anyone can get to this. It's a public page. It's if you just said National Weather Service Weather and Hazards Data Viewer, like it says up here at the top. Let me highlight that. So this, if you just do is Google search for that, it should pull it up. It's a pretty nice map. You can set it up. The initial interface comes up with on the one side, upper right hand side, and allows you to put different layers. So in this case, I've got the radar, I've got the pressure, temperature, dew points, and the wind and the cloud cover all mapped in the station models plots. Oh, and then there's wind gusts too, I see. So it kind of gives you a bit of an idea of what's going on. And my thought here today was to get this going. And just a little bit on how I do this. I have to stop looking at this thing here. All right. So just looking at my monitors and making sure this is all set. I think I'll go back to... I don't know how well I'll be able to keep track of comments if I do get comments here later on. But it should be kind of fun to try and do something here. And this is on my own profile, obviously. I've been now live for, 8 minutes? Okay, yeah. That's kind of cool. All right, so let's get this started. I want this color, and I need to figure out... Okay. Well, the low... There's definitely a trough in there. And I'm just kind of like looking for the lowest pressures, which look like they go off the end of the page, which would be typical. All right, let's start with this. We'll start with a 2 millibar. Yeah, this should start showing up here as I do this. Yeah, and one of the downsides of being a meteorologist is that since there's weather 24 hours a day, you have to have coverage almost 24 hours a day, depending on what you're doing. So if you're doing this solo, like I'm doing, you're kind of limited on what you can kind of do. Like, I can't necessarily run a radio station or a weather station for that matter of some sort without me having to be up all hours of the night. I'm going to erase this part. And so I kind of try to find different things. This also, in a way, helps me figure out things that we possibly could do for the office's live stream. Not that we want to do something all the time, but we see that we get really good engagement with more people paying attention to our stuff on this. as we go through it. So now it takes much better shape. And there's probably, I could just do, so I am going to do my first low pressure system here. So the surface low itself looks like it's down here in Oklahoma, roughly. And then, sorry, the way I said that is due to the fact that my wife and I use Waze for our mapping pro apps, and you can record you can record your voice doing the directions. And so I have her set as my device direction person. And she was being a little goofy when she did it, which I'm glad. It's kind of fun. But she goes, and then, so I have a tendency to say stuff like that. I'm doing every 2 millibars, and that may get a little crowded in here at times. I like the detail that I can get with 2 millibars. So at 14, and this could be boring for some people. It could be enlightening for others. It's possible, depending on what's going on. I might share another graphic from the office, since I think I have this. Yeah, I have it set up for this to broadcast the monitor and not a web page or something like that. So as I've been drawing this, and so we'll go with this. That's 14, and we'll go to 16. So right about here. And there's that weird one. What is that? Devil's Lake, North Dakota. For some reason, it's reporting the. It's either a station pressure. It's not a sea level pressure, which is what we're showing here. A lot of things with meteorology are kind of interesting in that we have to use certain things so that when we compare them to other places, we all have the same basic units. So in this case, we do sea level pressure analysis to find the highs and lows on the surface of the Earth. And that's because we use that's because the higher up in elevation you go, the lower the pressure is at the surface. So like at the office, and the office sits at about 1,400 and some feet, or it's like it's close to one of the like there's several high points in Otsego County, and like we're on one of them, or we're pretty close to them. Whoops. It's 8. This is an 18, not 17 and a half. And so at 1,400 feet, we're at 970 millibars. I think yesterday was where it came out at. Lake Michigan, because it's about 700 feet lower than the office is somewhere around, it's probably closer to like 980 most of the time. You know, now that rises and falls as low pressure systems come in, or high pressure systems come in, and things like that. So I don't know why I put a 14 there. That's 18. 18, 16. There we go. Keep them marked so I know where I'm going here. Okay, 20 is the next one. So things should start to expand a bit on this. 20. And there'll be times when I go silent as I'm concentrating on where I'm putting this. Yeah, and 20 doesn't come out the other side because it's too far away on the other part of the page. Okay. I'll just concentrate on this one. Looks like 22. I need to go far enough here with it so that I don't get too far, or so that I can get it somewhat covering most of the Great Lakes here. So let's see, 23, 24. Yeah, so I might show a graphic or two here towards the end. We'll see. Um, but you have to put up with my boring analysis of everything here. 26. Wow. 1034. Wow, that's a pretty decent little high. I guess I didn't realize it had gotten that strong. 28. Now, a lot of times people will use inches of mercury, and there is a way to convert this over, but the standard is using millibars, which in recent years has changed over to hectopascals. I mean, they're the same numbers, exactly the same numbers. So I could say that I'm doing this every 2 hectopascals, but millibars is what we were brought up on, so to speak. That's what we learned in my meteorology classes at Penn State. And let's see here, we're at 10:30. And this loops around. And goes off the page. All right. Oh, and then there's a little dip here in the 1028 line. Put that in there. Oh, okay. Let's see if I can move it. Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't realize it was that large. It was off the edge of my tablet screen. I wonder how far over. Oh, that's because I had it that far over. Okay, so let's erase that. Let's erase these. We'll finish these numbers, these lines. All right. Why did it quit? All right. Let's see if I can get it back. There we go. All of a sudden, it just completely disappeared off my tablet. It just boop. I don't know if there's a timeout on this thing. Not boring for me to watch. I got my coffee and I'm watching. Thanks, Kenny. I happen to look up because of the tablet here and see the comments, and I see, oh, and you did that 5 minutes ago. Okay, well, cool. Let's see here. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. Trying to get my bearings after losing all that. I don't know what I was talking about. Oops, missed a 1030 over there. Anyway, so a lot of times what we do at the office, this has kind of fallen out of, I wouldn't say favor, it's just not how we do it. Siri, go away. And because a lot of things are automated at the office now, you'd be surprised. So a lot of times we'll look at computer models. I do try to do a map, although in recent, as you might have seen my Instagram as I was doing that um, at one point. 26. Oops, that's an 8. 26. There we go. And then 24. Um, I don't always do one. It just depends on how much time I have. And we'll just end it with 20 because it's not as important over here. But I guess I can still put the 22 line in here. My zeros are looking like sixes. If you ever notice that I crossed my sevens, I had to, which you can't see on this one because this was uneven numbers. That's because I started to lose track of what I was trying to write. So I crossed my sevens and my Z's. I started that in college because it was easier for me to make sure that I had the right number in there or letter. Okay, let's see here. Because my handwriting is not the best. All right, so we're at 30, and this high is not all that important, so we'll go every 4 millibars, which is usually a standard as well. And like I said, I was wowed earlier saying it was a 1034. So it's a little higher than that. It could be like a 1035 or 1036 millibar high. That's a pretty strong high. You usually see them in the wintertime and in the early spring like this. Okay, now we'll start doing fronts, the fronts. And so, oops, that's not the pencil I want, though. I want this one. All right. Love my sound effects. All right, so what I'm looking for are where the warm air meets. So in this case, let's see if I can blow this up. Oh, well, it's blown up on my iPad, but not here. But let's see if I right about where I have this line. Here, let me switch to the highlighter. So you see our temperature is 43 there. Well, that kind of obscures a little bit. I'll try not to do that so much. And 44. While down here, we're in the 60s. So there's a definite boundary between warm and cold air. And I'm going to erase those so it doesn't interfere. Oops, a little too big. There we go. Patch that up. So that's what I'm looking for, and usually they fall along these troughs. So as you see how the low pressure, it looks like there's a there's a trough of low pressure that runs up through here, and you can also look at wind directions. So as we get farther north, obviously our whoops, I did it again. Dang it. Wrong pencil. There we go. This is the one I want. You can see that the warm air should be coming in out of the south, and all this should start gradually warm up after it gets past it. But the initial changeover and the let's see here, yeah. So it goes up this way. So the warm front's getting pretty close to being through here, and there's another the main pressure trough is kind of like this. Many of us will demark it with usually a red dash line or something like that. Let's see how far out this warm front goes. You could argue here, out there. Okay, yep. So right about there. And then we'll just end it there. I think that should do. Yeah, because then we're getting into the high. And I mean, technically, you could probably find a place where it actually spans across, but the winds are so light that the winds aren't probably doing anything. So all this southeast flow is where we're looking at for the warm air, and you can see where all the winds start to go out of the northeast, which should be like a colder, drier, colder pattern. And while the wind has changed at these places, I didn't include them because they were still on the pretty cold air right now. So, but they would probably be warming up over here over time. In fact, when I did this screen capture, I don't see it on there. Let's see. That's the one thing about this page. It doesn't quite give you what time you did your uh, what time everything shows up on here. I guess I have to just mouse over this. Let's see here. ACB. There's Bel Air. That was at 10:15. Okay, so it was roughly at 10 o'clock, I think. This is the 10 o'clock map. Oh, here, might as well put the high pressure in for this. And sometimes we'll sometimes put the ridge, which is just that jaggedy blue line coming off of the high. And it just kind of helps us denote where everything is. You could argue that you could actually put all this south of the rain, because I guess technically that's where put the warm front below south of the rain. Yeah, but I don't want to change it all. I mean, it's pretty close. If we had a better, if I did more of these maps, I would have picked that out sooner. Okay, so you can kind of see cold air's coming in here. It's fighting the warm air. So you can almost suggest as well that this is also a stationary front till about here, because of all the cold air coming in out of the north, which should be pushing down. But the front's probably not moving any, which is why it would be a stationary front. And we will put the little things on here. I'm in the general area. Yeah, and if Tim Vasquez ever saw this, he probably would be yelling at me. But this is kind of like, it's like riding a bike. If you haven't done it in a while, it's easy to jump back on, but sometimes you make a few mistakes. But you can get away with it a lot of times. So, okay, so south of the low, it's a cold front because the warm air is streaming almost parallel to the front, and all this cold air. Let's see if I can show that with something. Here, let's do some green. Although I have to be careful. Oh, I guess I can do it as a undo. So here's what I was talking about. All the wind's blowing in this way. And here. And all the warm air is streaming up like this. That was a bad one. Here we go. Kind of like that. And looking at this now, especially down here in Iowa, I could almost make a case that there's another low center trying to form up here. Ish, right about in this area. Or it says at least it's a triple point where the trough and the warm front are. Yeah. So, I mean, there's just a whole host of things that we're always looking for to make sure that we get all these things right. Put this back to the normal size on the tablet. Let's see here. What else do I want to note? Well, that's pretty much the gist of it for the upper Great Lakes. Well, and the Great Lakes in general. There aren't a whole lot of features. There's this. Okay, so I'm going to click done. And that takes it off my tablet. And we'll take a look at this. And we're going to do done here. So this is what the basic map looks like this morning. Eventually, let's see here. I think I can do this. I need to minimize this. And I need to get rid of this. And I don't know if I have a way. Output. Hide cursor over projectors. Use projectors on exit. Limit one full screen project. I was just looking through here. You can tell this is not quite all. I don't have all my pre-production stuff ready for this. Okay, I won't worry about that then. Okay, let's get, let's pull Safari back up. And we'll drag, oops. Since we are done on the map, a random kid from VBS when I was taking pictures for that, which was on my hard drive still. All right, let's open this up a bit. So there's the map I was using. We are going to open another instance. And I am going to go direct to, oops, I need to move my tablet. So I'll go right to the Weather Service website here. All right, so we have a weather story, which is considered important. That means that's because we have this thing has watch warnings or advisories on them. In this case, we have the winter weather advisory, which I issued yesterday with the for the freezing rain in the UP, and then we've got a wind advisory expected for this middle tier, and then they have a high wind watch for along the M55 corridor, and then up a little bit farther north. That could change over time here. For Gaylord, we do have a wind advisory for Sunday when the cold front goes through, because that's when the winds will blow. But one of the neat things is the DSS package. So this is for decision support. We may email this to specific partners at the office, but it's available on our website. So you can see right now that we've got the, we're expecting ice here today, especially in the UP, as this area of rain. I should get the radar going here in a second. I'm going to do a whole thing, aren't I? And then we've got all this different amounts of rain. And it's not a whole lot, less than a quarter inch on the east side to, maybe just greater than a half inch along the Lake Michigan side. But it's probably going to take our snow amounts down, or snow depths down, which, is going to be an issue for a lot of people, especially if they're into winter sports, especially the snowmobilers and cross-country skiers, since most places that cross-country skiers go to, they don't make snow. High winds, late tonight into early Sunday. Well, I would say, it's more like tomorrow morning at like 5 a.m. ish when the cold front goes through, unless the timing has changed on the cold front. And the best time we start really ramping up it's still in the middle of the afternoon or middle of the morning. That's the best probability. I know I used this yesterday. I did it for Manistee when I pulled up this particular thing. But I don't know if they use that or Traverse City. Either way, it's still pretty decent. So we have the highest potential. We're going to get into 35 mile an hour wind gusts, and then it looks like we've got some 40s that are going in. Still the pretty initial thing or pretty similar. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Bookmarks. We'll go back. Yeah, we want this one. Okay. And then let's see here. So for the Gaylord area, this is the neat thing, is that you can just do a point and click. Dun, dun, dun. And wherever you point, that's the forecast. You can kind of see. So the forecast for that little green box, I am going to move it out to, let's see here. We can zoom in. And I am going to do it for about my area. So it's only one more box over. Gives you the current temperature. So it's 33 degrees. We're above freezing. It really hasn't started raining here yet. It may have sprinkled some as I'm looking out the window. And the forecast for today is mostly cloudy, so they're not expecting a whole lot of rain. We are going to get rain showers tonight, and the wind, because of all that warm air trying to stream up over that warm front, is going to warm up so much that we're going to be in the 40s by tomorrow morning. That's when we're going to achieve our high pressure or high temperature for Sunday. Yeah, because then if you see in the Sunday forecast with a temperature falling to around 31 by 4 p.m., a cold front's going to come through, and then it's going to cool off. Yeah, this chance of freezing drizzle I think is overblown. um, it'll be a real short period between, yeah. After that, with little or no ice accumulation, there's probably going to be almost nothing. We'll see, but typically it's not going to last for very long. When you get a good cold front come through, it dries out pretty quickly behind it. And I try to tell the junior forecasters a lot of times, when you look at the way that some of our software tries to determine what's going to be freezing drizzle, and that it's like it doesn't do a very good job at it. And many times I'll just set it so that it gives me, rain or snow. And in this case, it probably would have just kept everything dry. But that just comes with the experience. Let's see here. So I don't think that's going to be a big deal. Wind advisory. Well, let's take a look at the wind advisory that's out for us. So Otsego, Montmorency, Alpena, and Crawford County. So we got from 4 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay, so not much different than when I originally thought. I was thinking 4 or 5 a.m. and then through at least 11, 10 or 11 was originally. I see that's when the probabilistic stuff has the peak somewhere around 10 o'clock now. So that's probably a slowdown in the models. But, wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour are possible out of that stuff. So that's why we have a wind advisory. Hazardous weather outlook today, tonight. It says late tonight. Yeah, I guess it's still technically tonight, but most times when people wake up at 4 a.m., they're going, "Oh, it's Sunday morning." Let's see here. Let's go back, and we'll go back to one more page. Whoops. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. And in the weather story, so here we have multiple tabs. So we've already seen this one on here, and it was also the map that we had on the front page of the decision support graphic. Tab 2 is the winds, kind of describing all the wind ideas. We do have an area of snow that's going to come in on Monday, and it will, but it's not likely to be a whole lot. We just try to highlight people what's going to happen with some of this. So it's going to go. Yeah, there could be a mix of rain and snow. Probably not freezing rain. I don't think it's going to get quite that cold. It'll still stay in the above freezing. So it'll be like 33 to 37 degrees, something like that, which is the temperatures where you can end up with a mix sometimes, depending on how things are. It all depends on what's going on in the upper part of the atmosphere, just above the surface. So, but we do expect some snow in there, and then we have a 3-day outlook, which is today, the rain and the freezing rain in the northern part of in the upper eastern part of the Upper Peninsula. Actually, I think the Marquette office, which does like Luce County and Schoolcraft counties on westward, I think they've also got some freezing rain. Actually, we can take a look at that here. Let's see. Let's go back to this, since the graphics we've kind of covered with all that. Oh, yeah. So here's Marquette's area, Newberry. This is Schoolcraft County. And so everything west, and they've got winter weather advisories for their ice, plus then they've got the freezing or an ice storm warning up here for Marquette County and probably farther. Well, actually, let's do this. We will. Okay. Oh, yeah. So they've got a good ice storm warning even into Wisconsin. So this is Green Bay's area. Part of this is the Twin Cities. Duluth has part of this area too. They've got a winter storm warning up in part of Duluth's area, just off the map here. But this is all Marquette's. And so that's, they've got the ice storm warning going on. So what that means is, here, let's take a look at their graphics. So here's their ice storm update. So they're getting ice up there now. Impacts. So ice storm warning means that you're going to get greater than a quarter inch of ice accumulation, because that's usually when it starts bringing down trees and power lines, and usually it's really adding up on streets, and so that you end up with the really slippery conditions, and that's one of the reasons why it's not as fun to predict in the South. I mean, we can make fun of Southerners all they want, but they do end up with ice storms, and that is not fun. Up here, majority of our stuff is all with snow. We don't have to worry about precipitation type problems as much, but that's kind of the things. So let's see here. And I have been running for 40 minutes. Holy cow, this is longer than I was expecting it to. But I got other people who are liking it. Oh, that's nice. Hey, thanks, Roberto. Jonathan Spencer, Corey Brokaw. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, for liking that. I can't see that in the comment section. I just know that there's, 3 reactions. Okay, 3 comments. 2 are from my wife. 1 from Kenny. Thanks for that, Kenny. So anyway, I think I'll just close it out. There's not a whole lot else. This is Marquette's area. So let's go back to Gaylord. Yeah. So, like I said, we've got the winter weather advisory for ice up here in the Upper Peninsula, and then the rest of our forecast area for northern lower Michigan is all focused on the winds, which will be, well, they say late tonight. I say early tomorrow morning. So it's like 4 a.m. and on. Let's see what the wind watch is. Let's see what Manistee. That's really where I'd expect a lot of the high winds to be. Oh, this isn't what I want. Oh, here it is. High wind watch. 15 to 25, gust to 50. So it's right when the cold front comes through. That's when we're expecting it. And then things should tail off actually pretty quickly after that. It should be like one big surge. There are some pretty strong winds bottled up currently, and when the cold air comes in, that just helps unbottle that stuff and let it come down. And then when it does, then it kind of blows itself out, and then you just have decently sustained winds, probably 20, 25 miles an hour or something like that afterwards. So with all of that, let me get back to here. Now I will say, here, let's do this. Got to get OBS up running in front of me. Does that freak you out or something? Okay, we'll do this. Maybe if I do, I don't know if I have an outro. Do I have an outro? No, it's just a black screen. Thanks everybody for paying attention. I'll talk to you later.